What's going on, Sober Life?
Are we on now?
Yep, we're live.
What's
Live and
going
ready
on,
to
bro?
go.
What's going on
How
with
you
y'all
doing?
too? Man, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. How y'all?
Good. What's up, Rick?
What's going on with you?
Man. Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Both y'all hair look a little smoother than mine right now. It's the gray, though. It's the gray that just is sticking out.
Man, that's wisdom, bro. That's wisdom.
Got them all in my bed now.
I went gray at 30, so this band here. But this right here. So what's Sober Life about?
Okay, well, Sober Life. Well, first of all, my name Leonard Smith. Sober Life, man, it's me. That's my name, man. The last 5.5 years of my life, man, I was going through dealing with incarceration for murder. She said, I think it's my bad. I was going through incarceration for murder, first degree murder that I didn't do. I was blamed for it by somebody I loved and lied on. And they got on the stand on me, left them off the streets. And one of the things, man, that I was going through while I was in for 3 years, and then the other 3 years I was on the box on the streets from the halfway house to home confinement. But when I was in the cell, man, I was just praying to God, man, if you see me through this, man, I would kick that drink, because behind that drink, man, it was always jail, incarceration, because I didn't know how to handle it, and I was chasing other drugs and all that type of thing. But that liquor and the alcohol basically was my main thing. I drink it when I'm sad. I drink it when I'm happy. I was just, you know what I'm saying? That's what I was doing. But I knew I was crashing out. I was crashing out behind that. So one of the things I did, I made a pact with God, man. And God seemed through to it to not let this lying tongue get me punished and give me 30 years in prison. And I just recently got they dismissed my case from off the streets, man. So, God is good. But that's one of the things I said, man, and I've been on the streets going on 3.5 years, and I've been walking sober. And I've seen the most money that I've seen in my life. I feel better, dog, that my mind is clear. Because as I was being intoxicated and all that, man, I was keeping a lot of bad energy around me. And people was telling me, man, dog, some ain't good for you. But by me being intoxicated, I'm just trying to have a good time. I ain't even trying to hit or tripping off none of that. But it came back to bite me, man. So, I said I started the Sober Living Project. I wrote that down on a piece of paper when I was in jail. And I put it into motion since I'm on the streets now, man. And everything's been going good, man, for me, man. So that's what Sober Life about. It's about just thinking above addiction, beating addiction, turning addiction into a mind thing, letting the people know, the brothers know, the sisters know that we are stronger than addiction. Addiction is a mind thing. If I say I ain't drinking or smoking today, I say that and I put that in my mind. I said I'm not doing that. But if I go back on that, then my mind is weak. I weaken my mind. So I don't want people to cling on to addiction like people have been doing for so many years. When they get up, and I'm not against anybody that do it when they get up as an addict. I was just at a meeting in Salvation Army, and I said, you know what? I will no longer get up and classify myself as an addict because I beat addiction. I'm not doing that no more. We tend to put a lot of things and label ourselves as a lot of things, and we don't know. We putting stigmas on ourselves. We are black kings. We are God's children, and we are here to raise our community and do better. So why would I say I'm addicted to anything when I just overcame it? So that's what Sober Life is about, brother.
That's deep right there.
I guess so one of the things that we talk about on the green table talk, I heard you fathers to the front line, both of y'all, correct? Or fathers to the front, basically. And with that being said, man, by the name of your organization, that's just so powerful. And to have two black brothers behind it and pushing it, that's even more powerful, because the way the world looks at us, not so much now, but as black parents, as black fathers, period, they not dead, they not around. I'm a product of my environment, and that's what a lot of people fail to realize. When they see a lot of good now, they don't know how to accept it because they're so used to the bad. They're so used to the children being neglected. And that's what we're dealing with as of now to this moment. So like, I just respect that. I respect that to the utmost, man. Cause I came up without a father. I had a dad, but he left me when I was 18, and that's when I was really learning how to become a man. He didn't lay down with my mother to make me, but he raised me, from 8 to 18. And when he left me, that's when I started catching cases and charges and all that, because I ran to the streets for love. I was a foster kid, so I was never really getting no love there. It was like temporary love. You know how foster kids go, if you ever heard about it or if you ever been through, that's a temporary home, because within the next 2 days or month, you could be gone somewhere else. So I'm searching for love in all these places and not giving it. That's when I turned to the streets. And the streets ended up to turn me into a cell, but I'm glad for that. I'm thankful for that, because it made me who I am now. So I'm gonna turn it over to y'all. We could chop it up a little bit. I want to hear a little bit about what y'all got going on, and let's chop it up, because y'all two powerful brothers, man. Like I say, just the name of y'all organization means a lot to me. So I'm trying to learn something.
Yeah, so we started Fathers to the Front from seeing the need of fathers who are trying to gain some type of custody of their children. And usually they don't know the steps to take. No courts involved, but they might not necessarily know how to navigate that system. So,
Okay.
yeah, and that's a big barrier. So we try to knock down the barriers, and we try to knock down the stereotypes like you were mentioning.
We try to make sure they get the right information, because we found that a lot of fathers get terrible information usually by somebody who got done wrong, but they might not, like for instance, DC and Maryland is completely different. So if somebody from Maryland, like, yeah, when I went to court, this happened, this happened, this happened, those laws are not the same as DC laws. So then you getting this bad advice from this dude that you might have got done dirty out there, but in DC, you can really advocate for yourself and get what you and really give a lot further than other places. DC is a little more forward thinking, and as it pertains to shared parenting.
Right, because this is one of the you see a lot of fathers with their kids in the city on the train, taking them to school, dropping them off to school. There's not a lot of places like that. There's some states that actually have 50-50 custody laws, like Kentucky and West Virginia just enacted one. But it's still a long way to go.
And we just wanted to make sure that they, like, fathers had somewhere to go that could help them, because there's a lot of different programs, but there's not many programs for fathers. And so I don't have kids myself, but I had a father. My father passed away in 2017, and my father, great father, always said I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for my father. And I also got lucky because despite my parents being together, my mother was really pro me having a father. Like I put it out there a little bit. I put it myself out there. My father was unable financially to pay child support, and I ended up moving in with him later on. But he wasn't able to pay child support, and my mother's friends were like, "Well, you let him see the kids." My mother was like, "Let me stop you right there. Our relationship and our issues have nothing to do with him as a parent. We'll figure whatever we figure out, but I would never be a parent." And so I always respected my mother for that. And my father was always there for me every step of the way. So and then the fact that my mother really could have done him dirty at the time, but she didn't. And because of that, I had two parents, and I can tell you right now, having that made me a better man. So I always want to make sure that we can give back to fathers that want to be in their kids' lives and might not necessarily have the tools like this, just know the laws and know what they can do to be in their kids' lives, because stuff can get ugly real quick, and we want to try to make sure that does not happen.
Yeah, which is most fathers. Mm-hmm. Most fathers want to be in their children's lives, despite what the stereotype is. Most fathers, most Black fathers, talking about that specifically, want to be in their children's lives. So,
and it's kind of funny that you say things can get dirty real quick, on Rick, because that's so true. And as we shift the table conversation, man, let's go inside some of these homes where things do get dirty, like where there is no father, where there is no support system, where there is a child crying out for help, or when there is a child that needs help that doesn't know how to ask for help. Because that's what we're looking at right now. Our city has been in an uproar for the last 10 years, if not more, with the violence, and this has been getting worse and worse. But when I'm also the co-chair of the Trigger Project of DC, and what I do there is we console the shooter. We stand behind the shooter, we stand with the shooter, and console the victim at the same time, because two things happen with this. You know, sometimes you might have instances where a person is getting bullied, or being messed with, and this person pulls out a pistol to defend themselves. So now all of a sudden we're calling them a murderer. We're saying, oh, they did this, they did that, and nobody is standing with this person trying to figure out what's going on. So we try to get into the mind of the shooter, change the narrative of the shooter, and also console the victim too. But our main key point in the Trigger Project, what I bring to the table, is preventing it from even happening. You know, but I've been in so many different situations for where I used to be punked and I had to defend myself, to now when I'm moving like a man, or at least I thought I was, and nobody messing with me. Now I want to take vengeance amongst everybody. So we have a lot of this going on, but there is no father present, and the mother that's even in the house don't even know how to begin to speak to the child, because they don't know what to do. And majority of the time, not all of it, but majority of the time, mama getting high, trying to cope with the pain that's going on with her. So now it trickles down to the kids. You know, look at me. My peoples was drinking and smoking. Here I go drinking and smoking, trying to cope. But I don't even know it's pain yet until I get older. Like, what kind of advice would you guys give, as far as like saying, speaking to the people right now that might be listening, man, that's at a house that don't even have a table, that's going through the pain, as a black man, as a black child, as a black youth that might be being messed with, and feel as though the only way to be somebody is to pull a trigger, is to act out. You know, some people, brothers, some people get locked up and do things to do things to get locked up, because the only way they can function is in confinement. I done seen it all. And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna keep it so real. I haven't even told Queen this. When I first came back home after sitting over the jail for 3 years, and I went to the halfway house, I got out of the halfway house when they closed Hope Village down, right? I was I was thankful that I was on a box, because I was confined. You know, I was able to still go to work and do what I had to do, but I knew I couldn't be out past this time. I knew that I couldn't go out to this club. I knew I couldn't go do this. So that was a part of my mind being confined, but it helped me. But some people chase that just so that they can be confined. But sometimes we need that type of structure. But it's a lot of people calling for help, man. I know this is being recorded and people that's listening, and I might need some of y'all information too. So please help me. What would you say to somebody that really need help, that don't know how to do it, that don't know how to get it?
well, this city actually has a lot of resources. It's mostly just knowing what the resources are and reaching out for that help. Like, we had where I met Queenie at, we had a Father's Day event at the library, and it was a good turnout, but it wasn't as many fathers there as we would like to see. The resources are here for you, but you don't take the action, you don't take the steps to get them. Now, for the young folks, it takes us to help to lead them to the resources, you know. But adults, it's just, I don't know what it is that keeps men from just I don't know if it's ego, and I don't even think it's ego. I don't know what's the barrier of keeping us from reaching out and asking for assistance or just showing up. Because the women show up. If it's pertaining them, if it's going to help them out, they're going to show up. They show up to our events. It's just something about getting these guys out here.
I think it's part ego because even for my own self, like not in terms of being a father, but just in general, like instead of asking for help for something, I always like, I'm a grown man. I'll figure it out. I'll do it. I'll do it. Like, and it kind of like you end up pushing stuff away because you want to. I don't know if you're trying to prove it to yourself or what. It's almost like you just want to figure it out for your own self. It might be ego, or it might just be lack of trust. Because you might be like, man, ain't nobody going to tell me what I need to know. I'll figure it out. And if I don't get the right information, it'll be my fault. So it could be that. And as far as the youth that's growing up in certain circumstances, like to pick it back off what you were saying before, what you do is similar to what I do in my job with restorative justice circles, where you have both parties in the room. So you familiar with restorative justice?
I heard of it before, yes, bro.
So it's very much the same thing. You have you might have the shooter and the victim in the same room and the families, and you're sitting in a circle, and like the questions that get asked around the circle, and you have a talking piece. And only people with the talking piece, whoever has the talking piece is the only person that can talk. So, and it don't always go smooth. But I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you say it goes smooth, because we've had the dorm, like at my job, when the youth are fighting with each other.
Right.
And so you already know when one person has the talking piece and gives their side, the other person stand up, nah, you lying, and all that. But at the end of it, a successful RJ circle, it gets resolved, and you hear a side of the person that you might not have known. And you hear like it might have been something that they were going through. But I say all that to say, us adults, it's up to us to really intervene, because a lot of times we don't realize that the youth do need us, and that becomes a disconnect, because they don't want to listen because there's too much of a disconnect, because a lot of us, like, we want to tell them what to do, but we forget when we were 15, did we listen to anybody? No, I ain't listen to my own parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did what I was supposed to do when they lay the hammer down on me. But at the end of the day, when you're a youth, you stubborn and you think you know it all at that point. But it takes us being patient with them and being persistent with them, because at the end of the day, they will remember it. And it takes away a lot of sometimes when they're crashing out, there's nobody there to help them. And that's why we need more mentors. We need more coaches. We need more of us to step up in the community. And that's what right there will help the youth out that's going through these situations where they don't have that parental guidance. Because I know on my basketball team growing up, a lot of the dudes, they didn't have parental guidance at all. But they had our coach. And our coach saved a lot of lives when I was a kid, through 3 years that we was with him. So I say all that to say it takes us to step in for the ones that don't have anyone to look up to.
Right. And I agree with that. I just want to say one thing about when you said the adults, brother. Like, I didn't get it until I was 30. I was charged with murder at 30, man, and I went to the halfway house at 33, right? And they say a lot of people that was in that they did 25 years, 20 plus years, they say the male mind really doesn't develop fully until they in their 30s. And that's why a lot of these dudes was giving their time back. But I can speak for myself upon that. Like, as far as being adults, some of us still need help because we never had that help when we was a child. So all we know is the struggle, as what we call it. You know what I'm saying? And there is a lot of things out here for us. Like you did say, we got to take advantage of it. We got to want it. We got to show up. That's the main thing you said. But I didn't get this thing of life, of manhood, of being a responsible parent, a responsible individual, point blank, period, until I got hit with this charge, until I was 30, because I wasn't thinking straight. I was always thinking impaired. And so another thing that I do know for a fact is that in some of these homes and some of these homes, because sis always says the dinner table, right? I don't know the last time I seen a dinner table for real, and I'm 36. Really now, like I've seen some dinner tables when I was in the foster home when I first got in the foster care, where everybody sat down at the table and ate and all that. I've seen that, like how you used to see on Family Matters and all that. But I'm talking about like when you really starting to grasp this world for yourself and figure out what this is and what that is. I haven't really seen the actual dinner table where people speak at it, where we sit down, where we hold hands and pray together and bless the food together since the early childhood. So what I was going at with this is like, I know in some of these situations in the homes, we gotta let our brothers and our younger brothers know it's all right to cry. A lot of people always put, it was instilled in me too, men don't cry. You a punk, you a sucker. In the same way we was talking about asking for help in these programs and things that can assist us as being men or as helping us better ourselves as being people, point blank period. Man, you don't need that. You a sucker, man. You can't get it on. Like you say, I'm a man. I can get it on my own. But all actuality, and you really want that help, but we don't know how to ask for it. Then you got the people that's in the house. You see mama struggling because daddy ain't around. Now you feel as though, shit, I'm the man in the house when I'm only 12. So it's like a lot of responsibilities and a lot of things that we take on that our youth take on that they shouldn't have to take on. Yeah, the dad might not be there, but we got the outlet. So we do, like you said, we got to reach our youth. We got to teach our youth. But what if I come to you and I say, man, look, man, I'm 36 years old, man. I didn't hit a rough patch. Dog, I'm hurting. Like I came to our sister that got this thing going on, man, before they dismissed my case, right? And I came to her because I built my circle around people now. It's all about positivity. But I came to her, I said, man, thought they getting ready to take me back to trial again for the second time. I got to stand in front of 12 people I don't know, but all they see is a murderer, knowing I didn't do nothing myself, knowing I'm not going to tell and say who did it because that ain't me. You know what I'm saying? If God gonna punish me with this, then he gonna punish me with this. But he didn't punish me and keep me in there, so I know he ain't bring me out here to take me back there. She said, this is your faith test. You got to stand on to your faith. He's testing you. And if she not had told me that a whole week and a half prior to that letter coming through saying your case has been dismissed, I was kind of lost. I was scared. And then that's another thing, y'all. A lot of us be scared. We be scared to step outside the box. We so used to just what we call a struggle when we don't even have to struggle. What would be one of the things we could say to the brothers that feel as though that they the man in the house, they only 10 or 12 years old. They don't got no type of support. Even though you guys are right there, we might sit in your classes, we might come and talk to y'all. Everything starts at home, agreed. Okay. They might come and talk to y'all, but we don't take it in. You know, sometimes we gotta hear things a couple of times for it to sit in. You know, if I'm going on, go ahead, Rick. My bad, Rick. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
No, he good. Just say it just takes persistence. Like I've been in like a rack of mentoring roles, and when it's like 50-50. Like some of them, when they first meet you, they just take to you immediately because like they ain't had nobody around, and they finally got somebody they know is there for them. Then they immediately take you. But some of them, they don't trust nothing, and they in that role where they've been put there's added pressure put on them to be the man of the house, which I always cringe when I hear a parent tell a child that, because let the kid be a kid. The kid is not here to be the man of the house. The kid is here to be a kid. You're supposed to raise that kid. And I understand not everybody has the tools to do it, but at the same time, that pretty much strips that kid of his innocence. And now he's forced to be in the man's role. And we know how we are. Man, with pride, you don't want to see your mother struggle. You want to get out there on the corner. So I say all that to say, like, the other 50% that don't take to it first, when I was in the mental role, you just got it. The persistence, they eventually, because when they realize that you're genuine and you're just not there for a check or don't turn your back, they will take to you. And even as an adult, like the agency I work for now, we have the Pathways program. So those are grown men. A lot of them are just coming home. So, and they still have other men to look up to that might be a little older than them. Some of them might be the same age, and some of them might be younger. But they still have positive people around them, and it starts to make them reevaluate everything, because you see how simple this lifestyle is, like just living this in this around this positive space and getting away from all the negativity. Some people it doesn't always work, but I say again, I say all that to say you need also men that are willing to coach other men, because like you said, a brain don't develop till you grown, and it's not, and it's in between 25 and 35. So yeah, like you need other people like to show you how to do it sometimes, especially if you don't have the skills or the tools. Like if you've been, like I got a cousin, my cousin been banging his whole life, and at 33 he wanted to change it around, but he had literally didn't even know where to start. But here's the wild part: I was 23, and he came to stay at my house, and he was looking at what I was doing at the time, and he wanted to change his life, and he was following me. I was 10 years younger than him. And it wasn't like I was teaching him the most, because he taught me more than I taught him, but it was more so the example. So I say, again, I keep saying, I say all that to say, but we as men, that we have to show other men that positivity instead of, you know what I'm saying, putting our guards up all the time. It's like each one teach one.
Yeah, as far as the youth, the first thing I asked, because I was trained to ask this, at this program I used to work at called Adams House in Prince George's County, which was a fatherhood program and also reentry. First thing I asked the youth is, where's your father at? Which is a tough question, right?
Yeah.
And I asked the mom, where's dad? If you tell me he's not around, okay, give me his number. Let me call him and talk to him. Because many times we find out that the fathers have been trying, they're just not getting anywhere. And they're afraid to go to court. They might be afraid to go to court because they have a record. They might be afraid to go to court because they don't know what to do if they have to pay child support because they can't afford it. So you gotta prove to me that this child's father does not want to be in the picture.
They're asking, how young are the youth fathers?
So I met an 11-year-old who had a kid.
For real?
Yeah, I mean, the age is right. It just ranges. I mean, if you're old enough to make a child, I mean, that's not the average though. I mean, 11, that's kind of rare. But I
Yeah.
did do this program with a bunch of high school. It was about 4 high schools, and we went somewhere in Prince George's County, and we were just talking to all of them, mostly mothers, few fathers. But I was telling the fathers, this is your child too. I actually overheard this lady telling some young mothers to make sure you get the father's social security number. You have their whole name, and just, it was kind of starting them off in a combat situation. And I'm
Right.
just, they're being taught this right away. I went to the courthouse with my boss asked me to take this guy to the, Prince George's County used to do like a child support class that just tell you what to expect. So he had me take this guy to the courthouse. It was me, my boss, and his father. We went to the courthouse, and we went into this room. There was about 40 women in there, right? 40 moms. The state's attorney was in there. There was a person from the child support office, and they was just showing them how to fill out papers, how to fill out claims and paperwork and such, right? So we walked in. They're like, y'all we're looking for the fathers for the child support. And they're like, well, the room is down that way. So we go into the dad's room, and it was nothing. It was about 40 guys in there too, but they had the TV on watching cartoons. No state's attorney, nobody there from the child support office helping them fill out paperwork. So my boss went up, cut the TV off, and he asked them, what are y'all doing? And they just got us sitting in here. Nobody's been in here to help y'all? No. Well, you know, the women are down there and they have state attorneys in there in the room, and they have somebody from child support in the room helping them. So my boss took over, gave them all the cards, told them to everyone here needs to ask for a paternity test. Okay? So get a call from the court, from child support, like a week later. And they were asking my boss what he told the guys, because all of a sudden everyone asks for a paternity test, and that shuts everything down. You can't move forward once you ask for a paternity test. And about a quarter of the guys in there wasn't the father of the child. So it's just, you know, the simple knowledge from the beginning that can help you avoid a lot of conflict. Because once you put your name on that birth certificate and say you are the father, and you might not be, then it could be a long battle getting your name removed. But they didn't have the information. They were just in there sitting. I'm just like, that opened my eyes, because up until that point, I just believed that women couldn't do any wrong. You know, it was us. We were the guys. Black men didn't want to be fathers. I believe that this was 2011. That wasn't that long ago. You know, and we don't know until it happens to us.
And somebody said,
You know?
and sadly, we have some young women out here tempting the government. Not all women, some just want the baby welfare.
Yeah, that's true too. But also, some women don't want child support, but they are made to feel this big if they don't, because the jurisdictions get money from the federal government for every dollar they collect in child support. It's called Title 4D. The feds gives them money, will give the state money. So, for example, Kentucky has had a 50-50 custody law in effect for about 4 years now. And since then, domestic violence cases have gone down, divorce rates have gone down, and custody cases have gone down. And since that happened, child support collection has gone down. And now their child support collection agency is in danger of closing because they're not getting the matching federal dollars. So what happens when so what do they do when that happens? You got to create this villain again, and their villain is the father.
Yeah.
You see? I mean, it's a giant web that I could talk about for hours.
Have do men report domestic violence to you?
Yes. Well, so yes, but sometimes they don't see it as domestic violence because it doesn't hurt. You know, if you're getting beat up and it doesn't hurt you, you might not count that as domestic violence, but it is violence. You know, any unwanted touching, you know, and aggression is violence.
Right.
So,
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
but then again, some of these guys are actually held hostage because they know or they feel that if they fight this thing, they won't see their kids again. You know, lawyers are expensive, and we help fathers navigate the courts. And if we can get to them early enough, they might not necessarily need an attorney, but we do have some attorneys that we work with. Some that will help. We work with an attorney that will help you go pro se, which means defend yourself. And then we work with an attorney that has a law firm. So if you feel comfortable representing yourself, you can work with this pro se attorney that will help you build your knowledge up. If you need somebody to talk for you because you get angry or you jumble your words, then you need to have somebody represent you.
Right. Do you help with people in Maryland too, right?
People in Maryland can come to us, yes. But when we're working with like we have this cohort coming up with the health department that actually starts, let me get this date, that actually starts on the 23rd of August. That's DC Health, so that's just DC residents. But as far as Fathers to the Front LLC, yeah, we can help fathers in Maryland, mainly Prince George's County, because we get people from Prince George's County, a little bit of Montgomery County. We actually get calls from people all over the country, and we're just like, we don't know what's going on in California, you know. But yeah, we'll help anyone, but we can't. But we have an intake form, and there's no guarantees. You can have, you know, I know a guy spent $250,000 on an attorney, and he walked away with nothing. He didn't get a child, so there's no guarantees. Mm-hmm.
Repeat the program again so they can find you. Your program, your organization.
Oh, you can just go to Fathers to the Front LLC, or just let me see if I can put our email in the chat.
Also, in our group text that we got, I need you to put your name by your number so I can link my brother with you. Because as you was talking about that, like, I just recently got off the phone with him before I got on this call with y'all, and he's going through something crazy right now. He's been doing good. I told him I'm so proud of him because it's like he been a father, and this is his first child, but he's going through something with his baby mother, and the fact that they're over, but she drinks, so I see her side of the story as far as when you're impaired, but now she's playing games with keeping him away from his son, saying that one of your family members can come get him, and when they try to come get him, now it's something else pops up. So she's playing, and I was just telling him, well, you need to go down there and go to the courtroom, because first of all, you're going to look good going in there as being a black father, and you're going in there for your child. Usually the narrative of the courtroom is trying to chase and find the father, because the father don't want to be a father. But when they see a father coming in the courtroom, now I don't know, maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but what I was just telling him, if they see you coming and you saying you want joint custody, you're not even trying to go in there and take your son all the way away from the mother. You just want to be able to see your son with no hassle. You got 2 jobs. Your parents, this is my god brother, so his parents were actually my foster parents. I call them my godparents to this day. One of the greatest homes that I ever lived in. And so like, and they support you and they're behind you, they backing you, and they still be having foster kids to this day. So like, I was just trying to tell him all the good things that he got pointing in his favor, because he's really doing what he's supposed to do. He's not running away from it. He's not doing anything about it. She told him the only way you can see you sign your rights over to the full custody rights to your son over, then you'll be able to see him. What kind of games are you playing? That's crazy. But this is what the alcoholism that's going on with her, and then her anger and her emotions towards him. Now this baby is being affected, because I know the baby wants to see his father. He's with his father every day. Now all of a sudden, because daddy and mommy not together, now you're playing the baby against the father. And this dude is actually a good dude. She sent him a picture with other dudes around his baby. You don't do this. You don't. This will turn a good person bad. But I'm trying to tell him the way. That's why I'm really going to get your number, so that I can connect you guys with him, so that y'all can show him a way. Because I told him, though, you got the support. It's out here. It's out here, and you're doing good. You're going to go in there with 2 jobs, bro. You're looking good. In your own place. He just got his own place after the breakup with the mother.
So I could say sometimes yes, sometimes no. It actually just depends on what state you're in.
Yeah.
And then it depends on what county you're in. And then it depends on what judge you have. So it varies, man, because an attorney friend of mine doesn't like when I call it the Wild Wild West, but family court is the Wild Wild West. At least in criminal court, they're following something. right? There's a guidelines that they're going to go by. There's math involved. Family court, DC does have the 17 points that they want you to answer, like, which parent is more likely to be cooperative and stuff like that. But man, a very good friend of mine and Rick, matter of fact, he went to custody court in Prince George's County, which they're a little more forward thinking than most of the state. But they just ended up with this one judge. Now, my friend had a great job, bought a big house. His child had her own room, right? The mom, she was fired a couple times from her job. They were investigating her for stealing property. She would leave the kids home by themselves, like a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old. The landlord would find like the carpet would be drenched with urine and there'd be food on the floor and just 2 kids in the house with no adult. Everybody who came to the hearing were her friend, was her landlord, her best friend, her daycare center. They all came for him. They testified on his behalf. Guess what the judge did? Still gave her full custody and allowed her to move with the child to California to live with her boyfriend. No job. So it just depends on, and he spent $25,000 on an attorney. She didn't have one.
What county was this in?
Prince George's County. So it just, so it's not a sure shot. And he had an attorney and she did not. So I do understand why some guys are fearful. But the longer you wait, the worse your chances are. Right? You cannot wait, because when you wait, you set the precedent. Like if 8 months go by and the mom is the only one taking their child to school, taking them to all their appointments, taking them on play dates, as they call them now, then the courts would rather just keep things status quo. So now here you come, the dad who loves their child, but they're trying to intervene on what's going on. And the court's like, well, where have you been this whole time? She a bad mother, blah, blah, blah. So you left your child with a bad mom for 8 months? Because they don't know you. They don't know me. They don't know her. They're just going by what's in paper and what y'all have done to this point. So mostly, and this is the thing, here you go. More women come to us to refer somebody that they love. Brother, boyfriend, husband, whatever. So it can be August 16th, and I'll give her my information, and we won't hear from him until January. And be like, do you remember such and such? She gave me your number. Well, when did she give it to you? Oh, in August. So, why'd you wait so long? Man, something just happened.
Mm-hmm.
You can't wait till something happens. You gotta move right away.
Quickly saying that, we got another question on here too. Also, one of the last things you said, how you say it's kind of the wild, wild west, what you just said. If I was to relay that to him, or you tell that to him, that'll discourage him, because that just discouraged me. And I'm not even in those shoes right now. I be having a rocky ship with my children's mother, but things are on the up and up, and I've been trying to just do the best that I can. So like, I hate drama, so I'm not trying to go into none of that. But I know by me telling him what I was just telling him earlier, and then by him being told that scenario you just gave me, these people came on the behalf of him and they still granted her custody and she moved out. She did that out of spite. We all know that. That's spite written all over it. You know what I'm saying? And that will break a man. That will. When it comes to your children, I've been there, and I was just recently there. I was just recently there. I was out facing these charges and all that at home. I was broke because when you're trying to do the best that you can for your kids and you think that you're doing everything that's right, when you're trying to be a father, when you're trying to be this thing that nobody wants you to be, or they all speak down or speak badly about you, but you're walking highly, even though you're being shamed the whole time, and it's like your baby is snatched away from you. Oh, dog, that will send a man over the hills, especially when he's trying and giving his all, dog.
Still got to try though.
No,
Yeah, I mean, because
right.
that's what I would tell you. You said it's your cousin, right?
Now, my brother, yeah.
Your brother. That's what I would tell your brother, because then I have stories of triumph. You know, I got stories of guys who got records might have been afraid to go for custody, but they get a little bit of coaching, and they go in there and defend themselves, and you know, somebody lying about you in court to this judge, you can say objection and ask them to prove it. And the judge want to say, can you prove it? And if they can't.
And that's actually the question right here. So I'm glad you hit on that topic. What about the males that are incarcerated, needing help or re-entry?
So for us to the front, we do not do re-entry. But we can connect you to, because I mean, Rick, you want to speak on that? Because there's Morca and then there's all these other programs. So
that's something I do in my 9 to 5 and on the side. I work with a lot of reentry. So we are trying to work on some laws for that. It's a work in progress because I guess it's a work in progress. I wish I could say something a little better. I know there's some like it's really like if you have a real good relationship with your child's mother, then even while incarcerated, it still can work out until you come home. But I understand that's not most cases, and I really can't tell exactly what the laws are right now, but I know there's a lot of men fighting that same battle. And as far as reentry, when you come home, the best thing I can tell you is get with Morca, or if you're I got to find out their ages, but a different department than the one I work for, they have the Pathways program, and that can basically get everything back on point. Like in a company I used to work for, this is in other states. It's in most cities except DC. It was called Center for Employment Opportunities, where it was everybody that was on papers just coming home or even just had a charge. And we helped them with it's basically wraparound services. We helped them find a job while getting them paid. So, and I know Morca has things like that and can basically set you on that path. So that way, when you do come home and you have all your everything in order, then you can fight that case and have more ground to stand on.
Right,
and it takes focus though, because a lot of people, it's not easy. Like it's not easy at all, because it takes time. Some people, it just happens, like they just get it and it just click. Like I got a friend of mine I used to work with at the old company CEO. He did 12 years. He went in jail. He went to prison when he was 16, came out at 28. And it was for something he didn't even do. He went to prison for not snitching, long story short. And because of where he lived at, they gave him gang enhancement, which is an extra 10 years. So when he came home, he got right into the program. And with that program there, we would always like let the PO know, hey, he doing good. And if he wasn't doing good, we wouldn't say nothing. But we always try to give the good stories, because we were on their side. We ain't on the other side. And when he completed the program, he did so well that they gave him a full-time job with benefits. So he came home from doing 12 years, and literally 90 days later, he was making $60,000 with full benefits. So they are like, it's just a matter of, you just gotta, you know what I'm saying, stay on it and stay focused. And as discouraging as it can be, you just gotta stay with it. And like, as far as DC goes, Morca and Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement can help in that department.
Also, there's other organizations, the Hope Net, the Hope Network, Hope Foundation. I mean, excuse
Yeah,
me.
that's my man. My man Corey runs that.
Yeah, that's my mentor right there, Corey Knight.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I do want the people to understand and know, like we've all said, you gotta apply yourself. Like how you was just speaking about your friend, he worked for that. It wasn't given to him. He had 12 years of his life taken away for something that he didn't do. Sound a little bit like me, but he actually did 12 years and for not snitching. But he came back home with a positive vengeance, and that was getting back into the worker field, and he worked for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So for the reentry part, for that, you gotta want it. It's so many. Go down to the big chair, Project Empowerment. They do employment services. I did all that when I came home. Project Empowerment. I was going back over to jail, cleaning up with through Sergeant Battle. After that, I went to my first job, Echo Striping. And I was doing the cheesecake factory along with that, busting tables. I had to get back what I lost, even though you would never really get that time back. But I had to start making time count. So this is your hunger. If you come home and you're hungry for success, you're hungry to get in that positive road that you should have been in before, but you had to bump your head in order to learn your lessons to get there now. It's all on you. The power is invested in you. You got to invest in yourself to do your best. Don't matter about nothing. Like Big Bro say, you got to try. It's worth the try. We're going to talk about triumph. If you're not trying, how you going to talk about triumph? You don't. I can't come to you guys and say, hey, I need help with this, and I ain't even trying to do anything to help myself. It's out here. Everything is out here. It's at your fingertips. These two guys' numbers was posted right here. They network through other people. My information, Sober Living Project on Instagram or whatever. You can reach out to me. I can send you. I got a guy right now, which is actually a pastor that I was just in the call with. I want to say I have a Monday or Tuesday. He has a friend that's doing. Hold on. Okay, Children's Hospital hires reentry and cleaning department. That's cool. So I heard that Children's Hospital hires reentry the cleaning department. But I was on a phone call and he has a guy that actually is doing classes for HVAC. And mostly a lot of these things that people all they gotta do, and when you talk about reentry, is pass the urine. So if you just coming home, your urine should be clean. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be thinking about no drugs, picking up, using nothing. We ain't even got no funds in our pocket. You feel what I'm saying? So let's change the narrative. Let's change the thinking of the mind. We talking about fathers here that want their children. We talking about the support. There's you two guys sitting right there that can help you get your children. Yeah, it's going to always be a battle. But if you got two men standing with you that's going to help you and point you in the right direction, that's a battle worth fighting, because now I got two soldiers with me that can help me or show me the right way to go about it. You know what I'm saying? And not just fold my hands and say, F it, like a lot of us do on certain things.
And I'm glad you mentioned that your system should be clean, because marijuana becoming legal in the city set a lot of folks up, because just because it's legal doesn't mean that your employer has to agree with the use. Your employer can say no marijuana use and send you the drug test, and if you come up positive for THC, then you don't get the employment.
Right.
So folks gotta watch that one.
And these main programs that will be paying you. Listen, you got I don't know. I know his last name is Bell. He does the CDL training classes. These things are being given to you. CDL jobs make $50,000 to $60,000 a year, if not more. HVAC, all you got to do is have a clean urine, and they're training you for free, giving you something that will pay you for life. But what we got to do, what do we have to do? We have to want it. It's not going to be given to us. You got to go for it. But it's right here. Why not take advantage of it and you can reach for it?
Nope.
Yeah, because everybody's not gonna be there to keep motivating you
At all.
Yeah, one of my old supervisors said, "I'm not going to work harder for you than you." So And people don't want to help men anyway. They just figure we should be able to do it. Nobody's gonna pull over and help you with your flat tire. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to do it. So, but I do want to. I always have to say this man's name. He's no longer with us, but Charles Ballard out of Cleveland, Ohio. I call him the father of the fathers' rights movement because he was the first person, black man, who noticed this, that the fathers were starting to be taken out of the home. It's just back in the 70s, early 70s. So he started a program, and he headquartered it in Washington, D.C., but it was in multiple states. And that's where my boss, he used to run his programs. So, and that's where I got trained at. So I always gotta give Charles Ballard his love because, he's been, when people say nobody wants to talk about it, we've been talking about it for decades now. It's just everybody hasn't been listening.
So I have another question for us all. We all can chime in on this before we get up out of here. How does mental health affect us with these, when we're talking about dealing with all type of situations? Prime example, I'll kick it off. Like dealing with trauma in the home, or seeing things go on around you, so you're just traumatized. That play with your mental. How can people seek help? What would be your advice for people dealing with mental health issues? Basically, yeah, what would be your advice for that?
It's more than one answer. It's one, it involves, you got to know yourself and know what's going on, because you're not going to be able to effectively get the help that you need without knowing yourself. And sometimes for some people that might be therapy. Some people it might be they need spiritual growth and guidance. Some people need a break for a minute. Like, it's so many different things, but we've passed the point where, because for the past about 5 to 10 years, it's been break down the stigma, break down the stigma, break down the stigma. Now the stigma is broken down. There's no stigma behind it like it used to be. Now it's okay, where can we go get the help now? So if you have insurance, then it's a little easier. But if you don't have insurance, then it's like, where do you go get the help if you need that therapy? And I'm still struggling with that myself, like finding the proper resources to give to people who don't have the resources to get these things, that know what they want. They know they want therapy. They know they want somebody to talk to, and they want a trained professional. Sometimes it's like, it's more than just, because we all can find somebody to talk to, but if you really want that trained professional, it's a little harder, like if you don't have the resources. And I feel like, I know Community of Hope can help you with that. That's one place in the city. Yeah. And
the city does help with that, though. The city, DC, have the Department of Behavioral Health. You call the Access helpline. Well, first you make an appointment with the Department of Behavioral Health and have an assessment. From there, you can call the Access helpline. The Access helpline can fit you or connect you to one of these multiple mental health care providers in the city, because you got MBI, right? Yeah, they're south. They're the big chair. They're in Taylor Street, which Taylor Street, that one used to be Green Door, but MBI took it over. And you have Preventive Measures. You have Volunteers of America. You have, there's a lot of resources. There's so many resources in DC that people come here just for.
Yeah, a lot come here.
And even health insurance. You get DC Healthcare has been around before Obamacare. So you have to get the DC insurance.
It just is posted in the chat. We get ready to come to a close, gentlemen.
Okay.
One of the last things I just want to say to everybody that's listening and chiming in, man, Self-care is the best care. And if you have help and supportive networks, use them while they're here. Because they're here for a reason. Reach out to somebody. Somebody reach back to talk to you. We all go through things, but it's the way that we deal with them. Us self-medicating or shutting down won't help the situation. By us reaching out and talking to somebody and speaking to somebody will help the situation. But you gotta watch who you speak to. That's why you know the right people to cling to. And if not, you're looking at three fellas right here that can help you and point you in the right direction if we're not able to help you ourselves. Any last remarks from you guys for the end?
Yeah, I would say it's possible, and if our main thing is connecting fathers back with their children. So in Washington, District of Columbia, it's very possible. You got a better chance here than anywhere else, other than like Kentucky and places that got the 50-50. But we're right up there. So you just got to stick with it. We will help you. We'll give you your best leg forward. You just have to trust us, trust yourself, and have confidence, and we'll make some stuff happen.
And then to piggyback on that, I would tell all the fathers out there, please do your research. Stop listening to so-and-so that things may not have worked out because he might not have known what he was doing. Please do your research and find out the facts, not somebody's opinion or somebody's just throwing something out there. You know, the stoop talker, everybody got an opinion, but nobody got the facts.
Yep. So it's been positive energy. This Green Table Talk is coming to a close. We thank everybody that paid attention. We thank everybody that chimed in. Peace and love, and I appreciate you brothers, man, for even coming through. I screenshotted your number, so I'm gonna pass that on, and hopefully he does the right thing. But like I say, we all need support, and where there's support, use it. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.